Okay, we're live. Good evening, everybody. You can see I'm in a different setting. I am at the Embassy Suites in Phoenix, Arizona, and I'm actually here for the 102nd Congress of the International New Thought Alliance, and it's been a remarkable week. I got an opportunity to address the Congress last night, and my talk was really about being the light of the world and reminding ourselves that we have a movement that is worth preserving, and that and it was the talk was about living from the inside out, and that we have a responsibility as a spiritual community to not just preach living from the inside out, but to actually live from the inside out. And so I told them, hey, I came to preach to the choir. So it's been a busy week. They have in case, but because of course, if you guys want to say anything, just unmute yourself. So I've been like running, like the blog post got done like at 4 o'clock, and the email finally got out at 5 o'clock, and my child is still sitting in the background. So he's supposed to be quiet for you guys. He's supposed to be a big boy today, but so this, the Congress is absolutely remarkable. There really is a commitment from the people here who are tending to reinvigorate this spiritual movement, to not let what the Fillmores and the Holmeses and the Mary Baker Eddies brought to life, that this enhancement that they brought to Christianity, to not let it die on our watch. And we've got some really, really great people that are active. I got a chance to talk to John Miller, who produced What is New Thought, the movie. I got a chance to connect with Donna Christine Park, who has a shoe ministry, a beautiful shoe ministry here, where she collects gently worn shoes and gives them to people in need. I got a chance to sit down with Mark Hicks, who founded truthunity.net, which is an excellent research tool. I'm actually going to be with Mark in September, speaking at the Metaphysical Bible Gathering. I'll tell you a little bit more about that as we get in to the Hangout and in the weeks coming, because if you guys want to meet me in Virginia Beach, I'd love to meet y'all there. And it's going to be it's really a lot of fun. It's really like this conference has been wonderful. And then I've got to connect with my colleagues, my prayer partner, Reverend Charles Taylor from Miami, his wife Shakira, Reverend Sheila McKeithen, who is the president of the UFBL. So it's been really great. It's been really, really great, and just grateful to be here in the midst of these incredible luminaries, and feel like I got my learner's hat on. And I am going to bring up the PowerPoint. And of course, hold on. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, yep, I knew it was going to do that. All right. Oh, now how does that work, Sherri? No. Okay. Stop sharing. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, good, it's there. All right, so let's go back up. All right. Mercy me with these PowerPoints. Oh, I apologize, you guys. Hold on, let me check the comments, because I am. Nope, that's not there. Yes, okay, great. All right, so it's there. Multitasking. Okay, so the question that we have tonight is, do you know how to make the law of attraction work for you? Do you know how to make the law of attraction work for you? And our conversation is all about the laws of attraction. First of all, that they're plural, the laws of attraction. Let's just start there. That right there is enough. But the question I have for you, and if you could just take 60 seconds, how do you feel about the law of attraction? And I'm looking for your gut reaction, just 60 seconds. How do you feel about the law of attraction? If you're live in the broadcast, you can unmute yourself or put a comment in. How do you feel about the law of attraction? What comes up? Attraction. What comes up when you hear the law of attraction? What comes up when you hear the law of attraction? What does that mean to you? 30 seconds. Oh, yes. Constance, Olga, you got to visit OGOT and meet Reverend Sheila at your mini POT. I love that. That's great. What does the law of attraction mean to you? What do you, when you hear that term, what does it connote? Ray says it's beautiful and sometimes scary. We had 10 seconds. Anybody else? What you hear from the law of attraction? Joe says yes and yes, more and more, seeing that it works. Now, I have a little bit of a stutter on my screen. Constance says I live by it, knowing that it is a law that brings to me absolutely everything good and not so good. Really practicing to keep my vibrations high, not always easy. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Oh, what's my PowerPoint giving me drama? So our outline is pretty straightforward. We have some announcements. Universal law matters for you. And we're also going to look at the backlash toward the law of attraction. And then we're going to talk about putting the law of attraction to work for you, and then Q&A. And I'm going to take just 2 seconds to tell this child to stop. Just give me 1 second before I snatch him. Okay. All right. All right. I think somebody has corralled him. We might be in business. Okay. All right. We might be in business. So one of the things that's important, and excuse me, guys, I feel like I have a little rough start here, but this has been a full week. But this was important to me that even with everything that's going on this week, to really be here and be available to you for this conversation, and to show up no matter what. This information has been a life-changing experience for me, and it is why that even with all of the things that were happening this week, it was important to just be available to you no matter what. And so I feel like I'm showing up in the rough today, but just go with it. But this lesson, I think, is important, and I think that it is worth being available. It's worth showing up no matter what. It's worth organizing my schedule in that way. And then I also, encourage you to consider supporting the Bible Hangout. A gift of any size is greatly appreciated. And I thank you in advance for that support. And you can do that right at revsherri.com. And again, that support makes a huge difference. Where am I getting this? So the way that this series works, there's the blog, there's the Bible Hangout, and there's the Universal Law Library. And so you have the information, the blog, which comes out on Thursdays, the Bible Hangout, which is happening right now, and then the Universal Law Library. I want to shout out Naomi, who gave me the ad for this week. It's actually an audio book of this awesome book called The Game of Life and How to Play It. And Florence Scovel Shinn is the author of that book. It's really, really wonderful. And I just want to say thank you, Naomi, and anyone else. If there are resources that you come across as we're going through this study of universal law, send them to me and let's put it in the queue and get it in the library. We're trying to build the largest compilation of information on the on universal law, free, that anybody can put their hands on, where everything is in one place. I mentioned this earlier, Saturday, September 23rd, the Metaphysical Bible Gathering is happening at the Unity Church of Tidewater in Virginia Beach. I will be one of the speakers, and I'm really excited. Those of you that may be new to Metaphysical Bible, one of the things that Metaphysical Bible is about is what's the best way to describe it? It is going beyond the literal meaning of the text. It is beginning to crack apart the words and get back to their root meaning, and also to realize that the stories have meaning beyond just what's on the surface. One of the things that we know about our Bible in terms of how it comes together is that we don't know what these stories meant in there when they were first written. There's no way to go back. No one left a commentary for us. So we're always interpreting. And what metaphysics seeks to do is to get behind the root meanings of the words and to begin to tease out the spiritual meaning, which does not depend on the facts of the story happening exactly as they occurred. We know that there are many parts of our Bible that people treat as historical, but they're not. It's not historical. And what the metaphysical Bible interpretation allows us to do is to pull out the spiritual meaning that does not need the story to be factually true. This gathering is exciting. It's really the root that stands under all of New Thought Christianity. And so this is kind of the place you want to be to really dig into, the Bible, really dig into where the Bible come from and how did we get put together, and what do I do with these fantastical stories that seem hard to believe, and where's the spiritual truth, and when we know all of the errors, how do we still build a faith that is practical, that is spiritually sound? And so those are some of the things that we're going to be talking about at this conference, and I'm really excited. So just grateful for that. Okay, why is that happening there? So my book is out. Very excited about that. It is available on Kindle and print on demand. And I ask that you grab a copy, leave a review on Amazon.com. I'm in the process of developing the larger national launch for the book. And so these early reviews are important for people who, when they come, there will already have been a body of people who will be able to say, well, this is what helped me, or this is what was valuable for me. So I just thank you in advance for that. There's some additional reviews up, and I appreciate you guys for helping me really prepare for this launch and prepare to take this book around the country. The scripture is, do not think that I have come to abolish the law, to abolish, but to fulfill. That I have come to abolish the law. I have come not to abolish, but to fulfill. And that's Matthew 5:17. And so we're at our opening prayer. And so I just take an opportunity to just relax and to know that there is only one power and there is only one presence. That power, that presence is God the good, omnipotent, the everywhere evenly present spirit of absolute good. That spirit is present with us right here, right now, guiding our conversation, organizing all of the disparate things that came together to make this lesson. And I just put this class in your hands, God. This is about you. And this is about sharing you with your people. And so I ask for your help this evening to make this lesson come alive, to make it worthwhile, to make it so that it is helpful for someone. that someone is touched by what they hear and that their lives are genuinely better. And so I release all of my nervousness, all of my own anxiety. I release all of the shoulda, woulda, and I simply surrender to this moment and I say, Spirit, I am your vessel. Have your way. Thank you for everyone who's gathered here. Thank you for the consciousness that is represented here. I am grateful. I am thankful. I am deeply, deeply, deeply available to Spirit. And I affirm that this is our best class ever.
I can't believe I finally got in the class.
Thanks, God. And so it is. Why universal law matters for you. We talked about this a little bit on the first time when we touched on universal law, but I think it's worth revisiting. Whether you believe in universal law or see it as much ado about nothing, you're still working with it. Law is an inescapable truth of our existence. Law, spiritual law, not man's law. Spiritual law is an inescapable truth of our existence. So whether you believe in gravity, gravity still works. Whether you believe in the law of aerodynamics, each one of us has the ability to get into a plane and to take advantage of it. Whether you believe in any of these laws that allow us to go to the moon, that allow us to literally leave the Earth's atmosphere. Hi, baby. You came to say hi? All right, there you go. You get to say hi.
Hi.
Okay, all right. Bye-bye. Whether you believe in it or not, it's still a truth. I can't even say a fact because facts change, but it is still a truth of our existence. And I think about it this way, that there are exact laws for managing the entire physical universe. It's why we're able to plant apple seeds and get apples. None of us ever, give it here. None of us ever plants apple seeds and ends up with orange trees. None of us ever plants tulip seeds and ends up with, here you go, babe. None of us ever plants tulip seeds and ends up with roses or, chrysanthemums. That you can trust that the seed that you sow is going to produce an exact result. You can take it to the bank. And there is this faithfulness to the universe and this consistency to the universe. So the idea that a God that would be so painstakingly exact with the physical universe, but would simply leave the mental universe through which we function to chance just doesn't add up. That wouldn't be a God that doesn't change. It's just not how that works. And so you're working with universal law, whether you can accept the idea that we create our own experience and that we do it through the use of universal law, whether that is too far-fetched, you're still working with universal law. And so it may help to, at this point in your spiritual journey, to just get to a place where you say, okay, I may not get how it is that I have brought all of these into my life that I really don't want. But I accept that if God can be painstakingly exact with the creation of the physical universe, then God is equally as painstakingly exact with the mental and the spiritual universe. And though I don't always understand the law, I accept that there is a law. There's a law of electricity. I would venture to say, unless we've got some electricians or some electrical engineers in the conversation tonight, none of us would be able to explain how electricity works. What we do know is that we can cooperate with it by paying the bill and turning on the light switch. And if we turned on the light switch and the light didn't come on, we wouldn't think that the law of electricity no longer works. We would know that a few things may have happened. Either we didn't pay the bill, or there's a short in the circuit, or there's something happening with our power. Maybe there's a power outage in the neighborhood, but we don't assume that the law of electricity has somehow stopped working. And so the universal law matters because you're always working with it, whether you understand it or not. And so this class really is about getting to that understanding that Jesus had, which was, how do I cooperate with these mental laws that govern my experience? How do I even discern these mental laws? How do I even look at them and see them? And then once I see them, how do I cooperate with them so that I can be intentional in my experience? So the law of attraction, truth or myth. One of the things that happened in 2006 is there was a movie that came out called The Secret. And The Secret was wonderful because it brought to light something that really had been in small pockets of primarily, well, I can't say primarily, but I would say what we would call the mystical tradition. So Sufism for Islam, the Kabbalah or the Kabbalah for Judaism, metaphysical Christianity or New Thought Christianity for Christianity. And then there are lots of other faiths that have all taught and practiced the law of attraction. I don't call it a belief. I thought that was kind of odd. I read on Wikipedia, it says the law of attraction is the belief in, and it's like, no, this is not a belief in, because the belief in suggests that, well, you could not believe it and then it's not true for you. Well, no, it's still true for you whether you believe it or not. But the challenge with The Secret, and I remember the hype about it, and I remember the excitement I had, because it was like, wow, like all these people are going to get what I've been studying for like the last decade or so, right? But the problem is that it painted a picture that appealed to the lowest common denominator in all of us, which is that desire in us to get something for nothing. And the thing is, there's no such thing as something for nothing. But it painted this picture. One of the images that I remember so well was this image of a woman who wanted a necklace, and it was in a window, and it was a gorgeous necklace. And she goes to the window and she looks at it with awe. And then the next thing you see is the necklace, and it puts a little sound effect on the necklace is on her neck. They also have the image of the genie, right? And which was referring to Aladdin. It's like the universe is like your genie, and you just sit and you feel, you think about it, and you produce feeling, and it becomes so, and you can ask for whatever you want, right? So the thing is that this process, and I think any of you that have been in New Thought for any length of time, you know that this is a serious work of heart, that what we're talking about is changing ourselves at the core. And that's not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy, because you run up against all of the internal resistance within yourself that does not want to change. It's like trying to change a habit. Like if you want to stop smoking, it is not just the physical draw of the cigarettes. It's also the psychological, the emotional, the mental draw. All of those things pull on you, so that when you go to quit, it's not as easy as just putting down and saying, I'm not going to smoke anymore. There's all this other stuff that has its hands around your mind and that influences the smoking in the first place. So the challenge with The Secret is it presented this kind of get rich quick scheme. And then, of course, as would be the case, it doesn't work because that's not really what the law is about. There is no such thing as getting something for nothing. And when you come at the law with selfish motives, you get selfish experiences in return. So this is not a money grab. And so then there were a ton of think pieces. In fact, when I was looking for that image, I'll show you the image again. I was looking for the image of The Secret, and one of the ones that I saw said The Secret, and then they put underneath the words The Secret is bullshit. You know, so there were tons of think pieces that talked about it. And then you had proponents of the law who came back and they tried to explain, well, wait, hold on, guys, hold on, wait. Actually, what it is that the secret is like, the law of attraction is a secondary law. And it was like, okay, this feels like semantics, right? And so I guess it did good in the sense that it exposed people to this idea that there is universal law. So I guess it was good in that sense, but in another sense, it created this false illusion that you can get something for nothing. And that's just not how the universe works. You can't get apples for nothing. If you don't give me an apple seed, you can't have an apple. If you don't give me a turnip seed, you can't have any turnips. If you don't give me a peach seed, you can't you can't get any peaches. If you don't give me any seeds for whatever you don't give me a seed for, you cannot have. And the law of the Secret painted this picture of the law of attraction as this get something for nothing. You just think a thought and then your experience is created, and it's far more intricate than that. And so that's what we're going to get into tonight, which is, okay, how do I make this work for me? And where this is not some airy-fairy sounding stuff, but there's actually a sound spiritual philosophy that stands underneath it. So that's what this conversation tonight is really about. So I do want to take a pulse. On a scale of 1 to 10, those of you that saw The Secret, how did it make you feel about the law of attraction? If you can think back to when you saw it, and it was pretty widespread, but if you can think back to when you saw it, how did the law of attraction make you feel? How did the law of attraction make you feel? Did it, how did The Secret, can't get my question right. How did The Secret make you feel about the law of attraction? That's my question. Was it one being, this is a bunch of crap, 10 being, oh, I got excited, like super excited? On a scale of 1 to 10, how did The Secret make you feel about the law of attraction? Check the other comments. Oh, I missed a bunch of comments. Alita says, don't feel that I know how to work it, even though I have read so much. Phyllis says, it's like a magnet drawing to you what you believe. Joe said, I was excited, 10. Yeah, me too, Joe. Me too. Absolutely. Anybody else? Olga says 8. Andrea says 6 for excited. It was too commercial. Yeah, I felt that way. Beverly said, I didn't see it. Good movie to see. In fact, if you see it in light of this conversation tonight, you may have a different experience with it. It may not be as woo-woo-woo, hopefully, because I think that there's good stuff there. Constance says, I was exposed to the law of attraction in 2007, yet it was not ready to really delve into what it really meant. It was not conscious there to fully understand. And she said, oh, 5 to 6. Yes, a number. Yvonne says, I saw The Secret and just thought that is the law of reaping and sowing, which I already learned about in the Bible. So 4. Phyllis says, never seen it. Cool. Cool. All right. Andrea says, I liked it. It piqued my interest to study more. Cool. Okay. All right. So Rhonda did a good thing. Not taking anything from anybody. So I want to touch on this idea of why is the law of attraction a secondary law? Why is the law of attraction a secondary law? What is happening with the law of attraction is that it cannot overstep or override the master law of like begets like. So whatever you receive via the law of attraction is always going to be a match for your primary vibration or consciousness. Said differently, the abundance you receive from the universe will always be a match for the level of abundance you've developed yourself to have. So you may be someone who has you're reaching out and you're trying to develop a consciousness for wealth, but you haven't done the work to actually know how to take care of money. You working with the idea of there's plenty and more than enough to spare and to share is going to be entirely different from someone else who's developed a consciousness for money, right? There are habits, attitudes, beliefs, behaviors that support having a lot of money, and whatever a lot means to you. Let's name a number, $1 million or more. There's a way of life that allows that kind of income to come into your experience. But you and someone who, let's say, is a millionaire, and I'm not saying you're not a millionaire, but you can hold the idea for wealth. But the idea can only filter through you to the level that you have developed yourself. So let's take it off of money and deal with like music. I have a love of music. I memorize songs. I remember songs from childhood that were out and were popular when I was a child, and can sing them without a sheet of lyrics today. And it's all genres. But I haven't developed a talent for singing. I love to sing, but I haven't developed a talent to sing. So the type of voice control that a professional singer has is just not the kind of voice control that I have. The type of range where you begin to learn what is unique and special about your voice is just simply things that it's not where I put my energy or my concentration. And so a professional singer and I can sit with the idea of music and the idea of universal music and the idea of surrendering to the music. But there is a difference between what is going to come out of someone who has done the work to develop themselves and someone who has not taken themselves that far. So same idea, same thought held in mind, but it's going to press out differently according to the consciousness. And again, that was why one of the things that was challenging about The Secret, because it set up this idea that it was a get rich quick, that you were going to think these thoughts and all of a sudden land in your mailbox. Not if you have not developed the consciousness to have that level of money. And so the like attracts like, which is what the law of attraction is. It's very, very simple. Like attracts like. It cannot override the master law of like begets like. It cannot go beyond what you have actually, who you have developed yourself to be. It cannot override that. And so the law of attraction is called a secondary law because it operates inside of the consciousness that you have built. Now, expand your consciousness and your like attracts like expands, but it cannot do more than. And I found this picture that I thought really sums up how we should approach life. And I thought it was just perfect. I hope it comes across well, but it's this shaped like a person, but it's these books and the brain on top. And it says, invest in yourself. The best thing that you can do for yourself is to invest in yourself, because you cannot go beyond the level of your own self-development. It's just not possible. You have ideas that right now you may not be able to execute at a level that may satisfy you because you have not done the work to invest in yourself. And so you must continually pour into yourself so that more can come out of you. One of the things that you can begin to do is to put yourself on a regular reading schedule and invest at least 10 minutes a day, hopefully more, but really 10 minutes a day is more than enough to begin to turn the tide in your life. And I love this image. This image just spoke to me so much because the books are the arms, it's the muscles, it's the torso, it's the core. I thought it was interesting that the core of the body is what's shown here in the picture. That the investment that you make in yourself is the investment that nobody can take back. And you do not have the ability to go beyond where you have developed yourself. Now, again, we get this when we're talking about inanimate objects, right? So if we talk about this phone, the thing about this phone is that it has all kinds of capabilities, but I can only do to the level that I have learned how to use this phone. I can't go beyond that. And so there may be all kinds of like cool, gadgety type things that I might be able to do, but if I haven't learned how to do them, then I can't do anything with them. And there are talents, abilities, qualities within you that you could do something with. But if it has not been developed, there's nothing you can do about it. There's not anything that you can do about it. So it just lays dormant. Les Brown would say, don't die with your music inside of you. And he tells this story. I don't know if it's a true story, but it's a powerful story of this woman who died, and they go to, clean out her house, and they find boxes and boxes and boxes of unfinished songs and boxes and boxes of unfinished sheet music. And it was like, my God, she left and it was all this amazing stuff undone. And so whatever is yours to do, whatever that you feel like is your thing to do, is just to begin it. There's something about just taking action. There's genius in it. And just to just baby step it until you can develop some type of momentum. But if you will put one foot in front of the other, that it will begin to work out in your favor. But you got to go ahead and take that first step. There's no substitute for that first step. Hi, honey. Hi, babe. Okay, you gonna be quiet? Okay. So you have to put that investment in yourself. You have to make that your highest priority. And no one can develop you. That's just not how it works. No one can develop you. Only you can develop you. Only you. Sure, honey, give it here. Only you can develop you. Okay, you gotta go ask for help, baby. I won't be able to help with that one, okay? Okay. I know, honey, I won't be able to help with that one. Okay. So how does the law of attraction work? Aura. And that aura forms a universe within which the law of attraction operates for us. Within which the law of attraction operates for us. Your aura is an effect. It's not a cause. Every cell of your body is attuned to the thoughts and the feelings that make up your aura. So I want to read you an exact quote from him about the aura that I thought was just powerful. He says the aura is the weather vane of the soul. This is on page 56. The aura is the weather vane of the soul. It shows which way the winds of destiny are blowing. Now, a person's aura tells a great deal about him. And you know this when you have encountered someone that you can kind of feel that person's energy. That'd be a way that we probably talk about it. But he says every atom, every molecule, every group of atoms and molecules, however simple or complex, however large or small, tells the story of itself, its pattern, its purpose, through the vibrations which emanate from it. And literally they take on a color. There are people who can see the color, but you can feel it when you've gone around somebody who has a really dark personality and they've cultivated a lot of hate. You gonna watch me? Okay. That when someone who has cultivated a very dark personality, that you can feel that energy on them, and you start getting out of that situation. He says our auras reflect our nature, though most of us may not see the auras of others. On some level, we are conscious of or aware of the nature of each individual with whom we come in contact. Thus, like attracts like operates for the human being as well as for magnets. He'd given the example of a magnet. And so there is this thought atmosphere in which we operate. There is a vibration through which we operate, through which we move through life. Now we have control over that. It's not left to chance. We've cultivated it. Now we may have unknowingly cultivated it, but we've cultivated it. And since we've cultivated it, we can do something about it. We can change it if we need to. We can change it if we want to. The takeaway from this is that you control your aura. And the question is whether your mind is full or whether you are mindful. Is your mind full? Because when your mind is full, it's just you're filled with so many distractions. Anything and everything can get your attention. You're in a vibration where you're constantly stimulated, but not necessarily in a good way. But to be mindful is to be in this state of peace where you're noticing what is actually happening in your environment. And I love this picture because it's a person walking with a little animal. And the person is thinking about all the different things. And I don't know if you can see the detail of the picture, but there's the house, there's some music that's in there, there's the car, there's some broken instruments, there's a little girl in there, there's somebody with a sad face in there, there's all these things are happening in the mind of the person. But then the little doggy is walking with this person and is only paying attention to where they are, which is, I've got 4 trees in front of me. I got the sun above me. I'm present to this moment. When you become present to this moment, you begin to shift the energy of your aura. You begin to shift the energy of your aura. Constance says we have 40 to 60,000 thoughts. Yes. She said the only time I want to be a dog. I'm just saying. The mind is designed to think. That's the nature of the mind. So there's no such thing as not thinking, right? There's no such thing as a blank mind. Babies don't have blank minds. The nature of the mind is to think. Our focus, our job is on, baby, I can't help you right now. I can't help you right now. The nature of our mind is to think. Spiritual mastery is about guiding that thinking. That means that when you start the day with those 40 to 60,000 thoughts that you're going to think over a 24-hour period, that you are thinking according to a pattern that supports your highest vibration, that supports your highest level of expression. And so you are being as intentional as possible with what you think, with the way that you think, and the way that you plant those thought seeds throughout the day. And so you are moving through your day mindfully aware of what's happening, that wherever you are, you're present there and not in the future worrying about what hasn't happened yet, but you think could happen, or in the past ruminating over what has happened or what didn't go right, or even just living in past successes, that there's a such thing as a little too much of that, where you need to be in this present moment, available to right now. The law of attraction works in reverse. I thought this was cool. The law of attraction brings you that which you hold the thought for at the level that you can receive it, right? So you hold the thought for abundance, you receive at the level that you receive abundance at the level that you can receive it. But it works in reverse. That which you do not hold in mind, even if you can receive it, cannot find you. That which you do not hold in mind, even if you can receive it, will not find you. Everything comes to you by virtue of the thoughts held in mind. I know you'll get this. How many of us know someone who can sing Beyonce under the table? Any one of us could pull somebody out of one of our churches or a church we've been to and put them up against that dynamic woman. I think she's phenomenal. I love my Houston sister. But we all know somebody who can sing her under the table. And I think she's a pretty fabulous vocalist. My point being is that the law of attraction cannot bring to you more than you have held in mind. And it cannot bring to you what you have not held in mind. And so if you have not held the vibration for success at that level, then it cannot find you. It won't just drop in your lap. We have this mistaken idea about success that it just falls upon us like out of the sky and it just hits us like a bolt of lightning. But nothing in the universe works that way. Everything that is has been believed in and cultivated into expression. And so if you want to express on that level, then you must hold the thinking that supports living and being and having on that level. So the law of attraction will bring to you what you hold in mind, and it'll keep away from you what you won't hold in mind. And some of us keep our prosperity away because we won't do the abundance work. I was looking at a video, I'll try to find it and send it out. Honoré Corder, C-O-R-D-E-R, Honoré Corder, she's an author. She was being interviewed by Amy Porterfield, who is a blogger, and her blog is called The Eventual Millionaire. And it was a really powerful interview. She's sharing her tips on like how she sold her books. And, you know, she's this self-published author and she's a millionaire from the books that she's written. And one of the things she said, and it hit me like a ton of bricks, she said, you have to do your abundance work. Some people think that their abundance work is setting up their retirement plan, right? Or they're setting up their 401k or whatever it is, however they're going to retire. But you have a financial thermostat, and it's up to you to raise the temperature so that you can have more money. Because even if you make more money, but you don't raise the financial thermostat of your life, you will be that person who has $5,000 and still $1 short. There is a consciousness, and you must develop yourself to have more. Just like you developed yourself to have more in every other area of your life, you have to develop yourself to have more financially as well. And when she said that, it hit me like a ton of bricks. And immediately I have a bunch of daily non-negotiables, one of which is I have these, I don't know if I have them handy. I can't put my hands on them quickly. I have these prosperity flashcards that I work with for just about 10 minutes every day, where it's just, again, just cultivating it, that there is this opening up of yourself, but it only comes through development. It cannot come any other way. It cannot find you any other way. And so the law of attraction will not bring you what you will not hold in mind. And I had to realize, prosperity teacher, I wasn't setting aside definite time during the day, every day, to hold prosperous thoughts in mind. when I would think about prosperity is when I had to prepare a lesson on prosperity. That's not my abundance work. That's not enough to turn the tide. That's not enough to change the channel, right? And I'm trying to change the channel. You know, you got to get involved with this thing on a daily basis. Okay, Ghost. You got to get involved with this thing on a daily basis if you want to make a difference. Andrea says, this all makes so much sense. This is why we should be careful not to hold the vibration of worry over any problem, because we draw according to our vibration. That's it. You think you think, oh, I knew that was going to happen, but really what happened is you thought about it enough that now that's what happened. This universe is not the mystery that we act like it is. This universe is not the mystery. There are mysterious things, but there are some things that we can discern, just like we can discern how the law of aerodynamics works, such that I can get on a plane from LA to Phoenix and get here safely. And that flight is one of our safest. When you think about flight, right? I mean, it's the most unreasonable thing in the world to get on a piece of metal bent in a tube and be rocketed through the air. It's the most unrealistic thing out there, but it's the safest way to travel. I mean, like when you look at all the modes of transportation, it's the safest way to travel. So the thing is that if we can discern the law of aerodynamics, we can also discern these other mental laws that support and enable our existence. Constance says, I played the money game, millionaire money game, day 13. Okay. They post it also in the other, if you see the other comments on the YouTube page. Dear Truth Student, today's deposit amount, $400,000, $400,000 deposited into your account from the Bank of the Universe. You know, there was an exercise that Abraham Hicks suggested when I read several of her books, but my first exposure to it was in Ask and It Is Given. And she talks about every day, like sitting and writing out checks, acting as if you have a bank account of $10,000 always, where you sit and you write out those checks and you get into the feeling tone of spending that kind of money. And it's a powerful exercise, but you know, when I started doing it, this was probably back in like 2007. It was hard to do. It was hard to do to keep up with that because changing that vibration, life begins to happen. And so these things that we are practicing doing, but not yet living, it takes discipline to lean in and to continue doing them, even beyond, you know, when it loses that initial excitement. So our solution is to cultivate beauty only. Cultivate beauty only, meaning that there is something to, I'm reading this book called Psyched Up. And there's something to priming the mind, where just looking at images, and they've done tests, psychological and scientific tests, where they have sent pictures to people that communicated winning or teamwork or things like that. Those images produce better results. They did a test with call centers, and it repeated across the country. They did a test with call centers, and what they did was they put in pictures of it's like pictures of success or something like that, and then they sent out these fundraising letters and to the various people. Without fail, the letters that had the positive pictures versus no pictures or just a negative picture, the letters with the positive pictures drew more money. And this was across the country. And so there's something to priming the mind, that the mind communicates in pictures, and that if you will fill your environment with beauty, with the beauty of God, just pictures of nature and pictures of children laughing and people having a good time and things that communicate joy and happiness and love to you, that you will begin to support the shift in environment. So watch the things that you have on your walls. Do you have things on your walls that elicit joy? Do you have things on your walls in your home? Because you think about the place where you spend the most amount of your time. Think about where you spend the bulk of your time. What does that environment look like? And does it support your success? And what can you do today to change it so that it will support your success? I do want to tell y'all, I know for sure I'm going over tonight, and I apologize because we're gonna run over. That's just what it is. Okay. This has been a odd night, but I'm gonna go with it. I'm out of town, so. Yvonne says, money has been the area of challenge for me. My intention is to live in the abundant overflow. Yes. Get some images, get images of prosperity. Just pick up some magazines like the Robb Report. Old Magazine is a great one. But you can just go and kind of get some good, like Forbes, and some of those like got some really, really rich pictures in there. The Neiman Marcus catalog is awesome. And before you do it, say a prayer. Lead me to the images that are going to touch me for prosperity. Or whatever that is. It may not be that. It may be nature magazines, right? Everybody's prosperity is different. Choose what's right for you. And pick out the pictures that are right for you and put them where you're going to see them. Maybe one goes in your wallet. Maybe one goes on your bathroom mirror. Maybe one goes on your closet door. But where you begin to shift the vibration. Right? You begin to prime the mind to see something else, to prime the mind. One of my friends told me this story, and is amazing. And those of you in UFBL know her. Well, I don't know if I can shout her out like that, but she's in Miami, teacher, one of the licensed teachers in Miami. And she weighed more than she wanted to weigh. And she drew a picture of what she wanted her body to look like, and she put it on her front door. And whenever she walked out of the house, she would see that picture. And just over time, priming her mind with that picture, she lost the weight. So much so that people looking at who didn't know her, I knew her before she lost the weight. People who look at her today would think that she is a naturally slim person. You'd never think of her as someone who was heavy. And she would just see the image every time she left the house. Every time she left the house, that image was creating an impression on her. So you can bring these things to you, but it's to cultivate it. And you cultivate it by what you look at. You cultivate it by what you consume on a daily basis. The law of attraction brings what is best for you. Now, this might be hard to believe. The law says, as you seek, you attract and are attracted to that which will fulfill your search. As you seek, you attract and are attracted to that which will fulfill your search. You will always receive an experience that matches your aura. Pain pushes until you learn to let love lead. Now, one of the things that he talks about that I think is powerful is that you may pray for patience, but then the law will bring you a long line at the bank. And you think, well, that's not what I prayed for. I prayed for patience. Yeah. Here's your experience to practice patience, because that's what patience is. Patience is peace of mind, no matter what is happening external to you. And so the universe brings it to you at the place where you can receive it. Now, pain pushes until we learn to let love lead. Remember what I said earlier, that the law is always going to bring you at the level that you can receive it. Some of us are in a vibration of criticism and a vibration of negativity. And so we pray for patience, but it has to come filtered to us through the experience that we can actually receive. It is not the universe punishing us, but bringing to us at the level that we can receive. As we cultivate who we are, as we make that daily investment in who we are, the experiences that we receive for our lessons improve. They just get better. And this is another reason why that daily investment is so important, because you want to make a change in how you receive your information, how you receive your lessons from the universe. It is not necessary for you to go through adversity to learn from God. It's just not necessary. That you can have a positive experience learning from God. It doesn't have to. People would say, be careful what you wish for. Only if you're not paying attention to the seeds you're sowing. If you are sowing good seed, you can trust what comes. The only reason you have to be careful for what you wish for is because you're not sowing good seeds, or you're not aware of what you're sowing. But the universe is exact. You have been mindful to plant seeds of abundance, love, joy, peace, happiness. If you have been mindfully aware, then you can trust whatever comes back. And this, be careful what you, that's for mindless living. Constance says, I wish I knew that one long time ago, yet I understand I was where I was by right of consciousness and needed that contrast to learn and grow. Yes. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. There are many ways to learn a lesson. Many, 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 many ways to learn a lesson. And we get to choose how we will learn that lesson. Phyllis says, ownership is the key to beauty. You got to dig down and own yours to have yours. Mama Gina's School of Womanly Arts. Yes. Yes, yes, Mama Gina. Thank you for bringing her into this. So what do we do about this? Because you might be in the midst of some hellacious stuff right now. Bless yourself. Bless yourself. Bless everything, right? Take that moment to just bless yourself. Pick up your wallet. Bless your wallet. Whatever your money experience is, I bless you. I bless you to receive more. I bless you to correct the financial errors. I bless you to choose differently. If you might be in a hellacious love relationship right now that, the only thing that's love about it is that one time you said you love one another. Bless that. Bless that. Wherever you are, bless everything. You may be in a job that you really don't want to be in. You don't want to be with your coworkers. You can't stand them. And you just counting the days to retirement. Bless that job. Bless the job. I tell you, and I have worked this. I went into a job that I hated. Hate. And it was really more just that it was a very low paying job, and it was the job that I could get at the moment that I got it. And so there was a lot of humiliation that I felt about this job, but I needed a job. And so I would go in every day. It was a telemarketing job, fundraising for nonprofits. So that was like the only caveat, was that I was, I wasn't calling to sell light switches or solar panels or anything. I was raising money for Save the Children, but hated and more out of the humiliation. But what I did, because I needed the job, I actually started to write affirmations while I was sitting at my desk waiting between phone calls. And I would write affirmations because I needed to keep my energy high, so that as people told me no, or to meet my request for their donation, that my mood wouldn't drop and then I'd really tank. Well, those affirmations turned into prayers. And I would begin to pray for my coworkers, the donors that I was calling, the owner of the company, his children. I didn't even know if he had children. Just whatever came to mind. They turned into these like random prayers. Whatever came to mind, I would just write it out as a prayer. Something happened where 6 months into that job, I started that job October 25th. Within 6 months, the energy just broke. And it was one promotion after another, after another, after another, until I ended up in a corporate position with full-time salary, like a real salary, full-time benefits, like a real job, my own private office. And I didn't even know that job existed when I went there. I was just trying to stop the bleeding. If you will bless where you are, opportunities that you cannot now see will open up for you. At the time, I was just trying to hold my energy up so that I wouldn't lose the job from lack of performance. And you know, in a sales job, you need a way to deal with a no. So my affirmations were really about survival. just I needed to not be fired for like lack of performance. But what I learned through that experience is that if you will hold the vibration, that you can break whatever yoke is on you. I broke the yoke of what was this almost like a minimum wage job with the time it took to get there and to get home and all of that, and turned it into a corporate position where I'm managing a team of 30 people. Just sitting and writing affirmations on papers and writing prayers on papers. Change the energy. Change the energy. You have the ability to do that. Bless yourself. Bless everything in your environment. No matter what it is, it will shift. It will absolutely shift. So, where have you asked for something and the universe gave you the opposite? Where have you asked for something and the universe gave you the opposite? You know, did you ask for patience and the universe gave you a long line at the bank? Have you asked for abundance and gotten a series of bounce checks? Have you asked for love and gotten a crunchy friend that is really hard to love? Where have you asked for something and the Andrea says, I have asked for abundance and ended up with an abundance of debt. Girl, come on now. Yes, 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 yes. And I understand that. I do. Yes. And here's the thing. Can you train yourself to feel prosperous even in the midst of having an abundance of debt? Because you don't get rid of the debt and feel prosperous. You feel prosperous, and it's the feeling of prosperity that erases the debt. Hear that. It is feeling the prosperity in the midst of the seeming lack, because prosperity is just the feeling. You know, there are people who have a crap ton of money who feel like they are broke, who feel like they don't have enough, because wherever their financial bottom line is, you know, if they have less than $1 million, they feel like they are poor. It might seem ludicrous, but it's true. Prosperity is a feeling. And in that feeling, in that vibration, you begin to draw to you that which is right for you, for your prosperity. But prosperity is a feeling. So I would challenge you, Andrea, is can you feel abundance in the midst of working through this debt experience? What can you do to elicit that feeling? What can you do to elicit that feeling inside of yourself? Yvonne says, I've asked for abundance and got more money taken out of my check. Yes, the universe comes according to where you can receive the lesson. Now, it's to bless where you are, bless the place where you are, and to feel that abundance even in the midst of that. And it may be challenging, but it's just to set aside a little time each day, 5 minutes, and begin to cultivate that feeling. What can make me feel abundant? Do I feel abundant because this happened or that? Like, where am I experiencing abundance? And begin to magnify that the light that's within you, if you shine it, whatever you shine it on, it's going to grow. It's going to grow, and it's going to diminish where you currently have your attention. The power of choice always operates. The power to choose never turns off because it was never turned on. It's not like you turned 18 and then your power of choice kicks in. Ideally, you're in an environment with some healthy, spiritually mature adults who can help you recognize what you are creating or what you have created. But the power of choice always operates. We have created whatever exists in our lives via the power of choice, or whatever is happening to us at this time. That our power of choice has invited it in. We have chosen the thoughts, we have chosen the feelings, we have chosen the attitudes, we've chosen the beliefs, we have chosen all of the things that has created our experience. This is a quote from Reverend Richard Mirage. He said this last night. He said, whatever happens to us is not the worst thing. The worst thing is believing that we do not have the power to overcome it. The power of choice, we always have the power of choice. And the thing is that the law of attraction works according to what we hold in mind. We always have the power to choose what we hold in mind. It may seem like we don't have that choice, but we do. And we must own that choice, live in that choice, walk in that choice, and trust that if we hold the vibration, that the energy will shift for us. You can overcome anything. There's nothing, you are not stuck. There's nothing in your world that anchors you to where you are other than your unwillingness to release the thoughts that you hold in mind. And so you can trust the universe to do what it's supposed to do so that you can have what is yours to have. You are never stuck. John Miller, who did the New Thought movie, said something last night. He wanted to do he's in the process of putting together a film based on James Allen's book, As a Man Thinks, or As a Man Thinketh. And he wanted to do this film that was like a narrative, but also like a documentary, and kind of mix the two together. And he was kind of dragging his feet and dragging. Okay, just give me 1 second, baby. That he wanted to just hang on, make sure you're quiet. He wanted to do this film, As a Man Thinketh, where he it was a mix of documentary and a narrative story, but he didn't. He was I know, honey. Just hang on. You can't talk, okay? Okay. He wanted to do this film that combined those two things, and ultimately, just hang on, honey. Give me 1 second. He was dragging his feet, and ultimately he decided, you know, if I'm going to pull this off, if I could do it, what's one thing? How would I do it? That's what it was. If I could do it, how would I do it? And sometimes we're dragging our feet because we don't know how to do something. But if we just take the question and say, you know what, if I had to do it, and if I were going to do it, what would I do? And just to sit with that question is so empowering, because it begins to open up possibility. It begins to open up the idea that what I want can be. And once you do that, all kinds of ideas come into your space. All kinds of ideas begin to flow if you will just sit with the possibility that I'm not stuck. Andrew says that baby is looking more and more like you. Yes. Yes, I called him my little mini me. We choose all people, all places, and all things in our experience, which means we choose our parents. We choose our life circumstances. We choose our environment. We choose our abilities. We choose. We choose. I wonder if, I was having this conversation earlier because some of us may have gone through experiences that were less than peaceful. And that's a nice way to put it. Some of us, you might have been through hell. That's really it. And the question is, how much of going back over what you have been through frees you to move forward now? And I again went back and forth on this one, back and forth, because what I realized is that, and I think therapy is a good thing. So this is not a dig against therapy, but at the end of the day, whatever has happened, you will have to develop a different point of view about it so that you can move forward. All of therapy is about reframing your past experience so that you are free to take a step in the present moment. Now, the question I have for you, and I don't know if you have a perspective on this or not, is can you reframe your past without immediately? How much delving into your past do you need to do before you say, okay, I'm going to have to think about this differently. I'm going to tell the story in a different way where I come out of the story as the victor? And can you reframe your past experience so that you emerge as the victor? My suggestion is to love where you've been, because love transforms your experience. Love transforms your experience. I heard an incredibly powerful story while I was here this week. His name was Rana. He's a Sikh. And if you guys know anything about the Sikh, it is a I don't know if it's an arm of Hinduism, but it comes out of it was founded in India in the 1400s. And it was actually a form, I don't want to say a form of Hinduism because I don't want to disrespect the faith, but Sikhism grew out of taking a stand against social injustice, against the caste system, where the darker people were discriminated against, and also against the discrimination that was shown towards women. After 9/11, this man, his brother was killed. And it was a hate crime. He was literally the first hate crime in the US after 9/11. The Sikhs, you may know this, the Sikhs wear a turban. The person who killed him thought that he was Muslim because he saw the turban. He kills him and they go through the trial. They put the guy in jail. One day, the brother Rana was in, I think he said, the Home Depot. And he ran into this mother and daughter, and he's having a conversation with them. And it turns out that it is the wife and the daughter who killed his brother. And they go through this, where do I know you from? Whatever. And eventually it hits him. Oh, I know you from the trial. And he says to her, we have this thing happening at our center that is this huge fellowship dinner. And I would really like to invite you guys to attend, extending this kindness to them. And the woman says, thank you, but, not this time, maybe next time. Well, the message gets back to the dad. And that just, the dad just breaks down, because here he has killed this man. He has turned this entire family upside down. And this man whose family he has harmed has now extended him kindness. Eventually, the dad arranges to get on the phone with Rana. They actually taped the conversation. I think you can find it on NPR, BBC, whatever. They taped the conversation. It's a very emotional conversation. And the dad gets on the phone and he says, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. And if I ever get out of here, the dad is dying in jail now. If I ever get out of here, I will travel with you wherever you go to teach that hate is not the way to live life. And he just talked about how he learned to love, and that extension of love to the family of the man who killed his brother changed everybody's experience. It freed the dad, it freed the mom, it freed the daughter, it freed the family. Love is such a freeing thing. We choose the circumstances in which we come. That power never turns off. It doesn't turn on when you're 18. It doesn't turn off when you die. It is forever. It's eternal with the soul. And so sometimes we have chosen our way into situations and circumstances that are less than we would really, really want. But the thing that will transform it is love. That if you will begin to love that experience, and what I mean by love is to begin to see good in it and to speak to that good and to give gratitude for that good, that it will, if you hold that vibration, it will change that into something better. Gratitude is the language of the universe. It is the key that unlocks God's strong box. There are opportunities where you are right now that because you are not sitting in a space of vibration, but sitting in a space of criticism or disappointment or frustration or just lethargy, that you cannot now see. But if you will begin to speak the word for love and speak the word for gratitude, that it will open your eyes to things that were right there with you all along, that are present in your environment right now. Love will transform. Phyllis says, if there's a body part you hate, look at that part of yourself in the mirror and list what you appreciate about that part. Before long, you will soon be getting compliments. Yeah, Phyllis, that some work there. Reframe opens up the possibility of a new point of view. Love and forgiveness will change all situations. It frees the soul to move forward. Yeah, you free everybody. You free everybody. Let the law of attraction transform you. Whatever you want to do to improve yourself, the universe will back you. By law, you can attract the possibility and the ability to become that which you innately desire to be. The universe is biased towards your success. I have a very personal experience with this because I started the year focusing on refining my preaching, teaching, and speaking. And I was interested in I wanted to be better. I wanted to be better than I was. And I started out and I said, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to go and I'm going to visit other churches. And so I would literally, on Sunday, our services at 1:00. So if it was close enough to my church, I would go to the church and I would sit in on the service. There's some churches out here that have Saturday night service. So I would go to their Saturday service. And I was always looking for an opportunity to study the senior minister. Well, life got busy. We had Easter service. We had Lent. We have so many activities: Teacher Appreciation Sunday, Mother's Day, our ordination. It's just one event after another. And so I ran out of time. It was just too tightly scheduled with managing him, managing me, and then church and all the other stuff. And in that, my mom attended a professional development seminar at her college. And the instructor introduced this book called The 10-Minute Trainer, Teach It Quick and Make It Stick. And it's an awesome, awesome book. And even though I could not attend these other churches the way that I wanted to study their senior ministers, to study how they teach and how they share their information, the universe had my back. And when I couldn't get out to study, the universe brought me a book to teach me what I need to know. The beauty of this is I'm getting all of this science behind how the mind works, how the mind learns, how people, how to create safe learning environments for people. Not only is it giving me the information that I need, it's also giving me a framework to now look at the ministers that I'm observing and to be able to think about that. The universe is biased towards our success. If you will set an intention, what is it that you want to do? And then begin to reach for it, the universe will begin to send you things that you need. And when you hit a block where whatever plan you made to achieve the goal falls short, the universe will back you up with a plan B. It's just, it's like the game you can't help but win. So it is, set a clear intention. What is it that you want to do? Where do you want to be better? And then on that, begin to build on that and reach for it. And the universe will begin to bring you resources and ideas and people who will help you to move forward. But you've got to set the intention. The law of attraction will work for you. I love this. The acronym GROW stands for God rewards our work. Do not be afraid to reach for your deepest desires. We all work with the same mind. The great equalizer in every circumstance is mind. Each of us has equal access. This is a quote from Edgar Cayce. That you dwell upon, you become. That you hate suddenly befalls you. Whatever you concentrate upon, whether you do it positively or negatively, whether you do it through what you love or through what you hate, whatever you pay attention to befalls you. Whatever you pay attention to befalls you. And so it is incumbent upon us to think right thoughts, to give our attention to that which is worthy of our attention. And there is a verse, and I know you guys know it, that is Philippians 4:8. And this is Paul speaking. And he says, I'm just trying to pull it up quickly. The gist of it is to think on these things. But this verse, you've read it and you've heard it, you've grown up with it. It's been important to you, I'm sure. And my phone is moving slow. Oh, good grief. I can't open it up. Think on these things. I got to pull up the verse differently. I probably should memorize it. He says, finally, beloved, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is pleasing, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence and if there is anything worthy of praise, think about these things. That what we are called to do is to think on the right things. Think on what's honorable. Think on what's excellent. Because what you hold in mind becomes your experience. You begin to attract to you according to what you hold in mind. And you repel from you what you won't hold in mind. So it's time to do something. You cannot change everything. That's really not sustainable. But based on tonight's lesson, what is one thing you can change about your thinking to produce better results with the law of attraction? What is one thought that you can hold in mind that will begin to create something different for yourself? And then finally, leave a comment on the YouTube video for this lesson. What was your biggest takeaway and how can you use what you've heard? What was your biggest takeaway and how can you use what you've heard? Questions? And thank you guys for tonight. My apologies for going over. Just was that kind of night, that kind of day. Andrew says, do not worry, just love. Yes. Take my own lesson. Something that did not happen last week, and I will take care of it tonight, is setting up the closed Facebook group, or not, well, setting up the Facebook group for the Random Acts of Kindness. I will take care of that tonight. This getting out of town, preparing the speech, all of the stuff that needed to happen this week, it just didn't happen. So, but I'll take care of it tonight. Thanks. Andrea says this was an excellent lesson, Rev. Thank you for your commitment to being here. Thank you guys. Awesome. Thanks. Great lesson as always. Great class. Yay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate all of this. I receive all of that. And I'm not going to push it back by being uncomfortable with the thanks and the compliments. Yes. Yvonne says that I am prosperous in every area of my life. Yes, ma'am. Me too. Me too. Phyllis says my new career. Yes, 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 yes. Thank you guys so much. So next week we did the entire chapter on the law of attraction. Why is this not? Did my battery go out? Oh gosh. The power of expectancy. The power of expectancy. That's next week, and we'll dig into that. So chapter 5, it starts on page 74, the power of expectancy. And probably one of the things I'll concentrate on, not even having dug into the chapter, is how to develop expectancy, because you don't get what you want, you get what you expect. And so what we'll concentrate on is, how do I develop expectancy for money? How do I develop expectancy for health? How do I develop expectancy for peace, and for, how do I develop expectancy for that? So we'll dig into that. Thank you guys for tonight. Thank you for hanging in there for the hour and a half. All right. God bless.